My name is Jeff Becker, and I have an exhibition here at Doc's Gallery, and I have another one called The Sea of Common Catastrophe that's at the Contemporary Arts Center. So much of my work right now deals with flight, and I'm really intrigued by the idea of how our desire to fly has created innovations and consequences that are ongoing and unpredictable. For this installation was somewhat influenced by a Gabriel Garcia Marquez short story called Sea of Lost Time. And the piece deals with people and possessions that are caught in some a space of limbo while waiting for some sort of eventual transcendence. When I was kind of thinking of this piece in this space, I wasn't directly thinking about Katrina. However, I spoke to a lot of my friends and asked them about things and possessions that were important to them. And I had this idea to work with these balloons that carried these objects that represented my friends. This piece here is called Flight, and this was probably the first piece I made after Katrina when I was on my hurrication in Charleston. And I was injured right before Katrina while we were evacuating, and this kind of relates to this helplessness I felt. I was taking flight from my city, but I was helpless to really help my wife and family get through this because I had been injured. I teach at NOCA in the Visual Arts Department. My concentration is sculpture. I also design sets for theater, and I think of myself as more of a theater artist than a sculptor, and many of these pieces here are maquettes, models for something I plan to make in an upcoming performance called Flight. It's interesting because of this cow, because I spend my summers in Mexico, and one of the places I'm at is very rural and there's lots of cows there. So cows are part of the landscape. So I wanted to make this bronze cow. And I had an idea of where he would go, but as I started making the sculpture, I didn't like that, the piece, so I kept changing him in different pieces, and I finally came up with this, where the cow itself was kind of looking for greener pastures. This piece is called The Beginning of Our Ascension, and I got the idea when I saw a play that was about Katrina, and one of the characters talked about being on I-10 and these helicopters landing, and the character had said this was the beginning of our ascension. This piece is called Sea of Lost Time, and this probably has the most relationship to my installation at the CAC because it comes from the same short story about these people who were under the sea who had flowers attached to their legs, and the flowers indicated that all the places they had been by the types of flowers that were connected to them.